I still remember the smell of her shampoo, the night everything fell apart. It's strange how the smallest details cling to your memory long after the people themselves have faded away. Back then, I was 18, young, idealistic, and stupidly in love with a girl I thought I'd grow old with. She was the first person who ever made me feel like I was enough. Or at least, that's what I believed before I realized how wrong I was. Her name doesn't matter now. What matters is the lesson she carved into me with lies, betrayal, and one of the coldest kinds of heartbreak you can imagine. We'd been dating for a little over a year. It wasn't a whirlwind romance or anything out of a movie. Just two high school sweethearts trying to make sense of adulthood together. She worked at her family's grocery store, a little local place her parents had run for decades. Everyone in town knew them. Her dad was a hard-working, straight-talking man who'd give you the shirt off his back, and her mom was one of those gentle, old-school women who always made you feel welcome the second you walked in. They treated me like family from the start. Her father especially took a liking to me. Maybe it was because I wasn't like the other guys our age. I wasn't out drinking every weekend or wasting money on stupid things. I worked, studied, and kept my head down. I had goals to build something for myself, to become someone my future self would be proud of. Her dad used to pat my shoulder and say, "You're one of the good ones. Don't ever let life change that." Funny, huh? Because life always changes you, especially when someone you trust sticks a knife in your back. Things between us started changing around the 1-year mark. Nothing explosive, no big fights or tearful goodbyes, just a quiet, creeping distance that slipped between us like fog. Our messages got shorter. Our phone calls got fewer. The warmth in her voice began to fade, replaced by something colder, more distracted. Whenever I asked to see her, she had an excuse. "I can't tonight, babe. Work's been crazy. Dad needs help at the store. I'm exhausted. Rain check." Okay. At first, I believed her. I mean, why wouldn't I? She was responsible, family-oriented, exactly the kind of girl you could trust. But there were moments when things didn't add up. Her shifts suddenly got longer. Her energy seemed drained. And sometimes she'd disappear for hours without explanation. I chalked it up to stress. Everyone gets tired, right? I didn't know it then. But she wasn't tired. She was just tired of me. It was a Saturday evening when I got the call that shattered the illusion. One of my close friends, someone who'd known both of us for years, called me, her voice hesitant, almost trembling. "Hey, I don't know how to say this, but I saw your girlfriend downtown today." She wasn't alone. My heart sank. "Who was she with?" I asked, my throat suddenly dry. She hesitated. "Some guy." Looked familiar. They were holding hands and laughing. I didn't want to believe it. I remember laughing nervously, trying to shrug it off. "You probably just saw someone who looked like her." But she didn't say anything. That silence on the other end of the call, that heavy, pity-filled silence told me everything I needed to know. That night, I didn't sleep. I just lay there, staring at the ceiling, my mind looping through every memory, every smile, every "I love you" that suddenly felt like a lie. My chest ached, like someone had set a weight on it. But even through the pain, I couldn't confront her yet. I needed proof. I wasn't going to accuse her based on gossip. So I waited. For 3 long weeks, I pretended everything was normal. I texted her like always, called her, even told her I missed her. Each "I miss you too" from her felt hollow, like she was reading lines from a script. She'd grown tired of performing, but I kept my calm. If she was lying, I was going to catch her myself. Finally, she agreed to come over one weekend. She said she'd swing by after her shift and spend the night. It felt like a small victory, even though something in my gut already knew how the night would end. She showed up just after dark, wearing that faded gray hoodie I'd bought her for her birthday. She smiled when I opened the door. That same sweet smile that used to melt me. But this time, it didn't feel real. Something behind it was missing. "Hey babe," she said, stepping inside. "Mind if I take a shower first? It's been a long day." "Yeah, sure," I said, forcing a smile. She dropped her bag and phone on the table and disappeared into the bathroom. And that's when it happened. That moment where everything inside me shifted. Her phone was right there, locked. I stared at it, my heartbeat pounding in my ears. Every rational part of me screamed, not to do it. But then I thought about the call, the distance, the lies. I reached for it. The first few messages didn't mean much. Group chats, work updates, random notifications. But then I saw his name. Her ex. The same guy she used to complain about. The one she swore had ruined her trust. My hands trembled as I opened the chat. There it was. Message after message that tore through me like shards of glass. Flirty texts, plans to meet, photos, conversations about how I was too nice and too focused on work. And then, the part that made me feel physically sick. Talk of stealing money from her own family's store to fund their weekends together. They joked about it, laughed about it. Don't worry, she texted him. Dad never checks the till. I can grab another $700 this weekend. Fatta girl, he replied. Then we can stock up for the party. You and me. Like old times. Old times. I could barely breathe. I don't know how long I sat there, staring at those messages. I felt my pulse in my temples, my chest tightening like I was underwater. She was cheating on me. That part hurt enough, but the fact that she was stealing from her own parents to fund it, that was another level of disgust. And her ex. I knew the guy. We went to the same high school. He was the kind of kid everyone knew would end up in trouble, skipping class, smoking behind the gym, selling drugs to freshmen, bragging about things he'd never actually done. He was poison, and she went running back to him like it was some kind of twisted nostalgia trip. I wasn't angry. Not yet. Just empty. Like someone had scooped out everything inside me and left a shell sitting there, with her phone in his hand. When I finally moved, it was slow, deliberate. I opened my camera and took screenshots of everything. Every word, every photo, every disgusting little plan. Then, I sent them all to myself. But I didn't stop there, because somewhere between heartbreak and fury, a new feeling took root. Clarity. I wasn't going to yell. I wasn't going to cry. I was going to end this. My way. I opened her phone again and started typing a message, not to her, but to her father. I told him who I was, what I'd found, and that I was truly sorry to be the one delivering the news. Then, I attached the screenshots. My thumb hovered over the send button for a long second, and then I pressed it. The sound of the shower stopped a minute later. I could hear her humming to herself as she wrapped up, completely unaware that her entire life had just changed. She came out of the bathroom with damp hair, smelling like coconut shampoo, smiling like nothing was wrong. Movie night, she asked, flopping down beside me. I looked at her, really looked, and all I felt was disgust. We're done, I said quietly. Her smile faltered. But why? I know everything. She blinked. What? I stood up, my voice calm but cold. About your ex, about the money, about the drugs, all of it. Her face went pale. She froze like a deer in headlights. I don't know what you're talking about, she stammered. Save it, I said. You should go home. You've got a surprise waiting for you. She looked confused, but I didn't explain. I just walked to the door and opened it. For a second, she looked like she wanted to cry, maybe even beg, but she didn't. She just grabbed her bag, snatched her phone, and walked out, without another word. When the door closed behind her, I let out a breath. I hadn't realized I was holding. 10 minutes later, my phone buzzed. It was her dad. Son, he said, his voice trembling. Thank you. I had no idea. I'm unashamed. I could hear the heartbreak in his tone, the disbelief. I'm sorry, sir, I said softly. I didn't want to be the one to tell you. He exhaled sharply. You did the right thing. And don't worry, we'll handle it. That night, I didn't sleep. I didn't cry either. I just lay there in silence, staring into the dark, wondering how someone could throw away everything for a few nights of cheap thrills. The next morning, I found out what had happened. Her dad had gone through her things, confirmed the missing money, and called the police. By the time she got home that night, they were already waiting for her. She spent the night in a cell, alongside her ex. Apparently, he had outstanding warrants. She ended up facing theft charges, and was ordered to pay her family back every cent, plus community service. When her dad called me later to tell me, he apologized again, for her, for everything. He said he still respected me, and hoped I wouldn't lose faith in people because of her. But the truth is, I did, at least for a while. The betrayal left a scar that ran deeper than I cared to admit. I'd always believed in honesty in loyalty, in love that could withstand distance and temptation. She'd taken that belief and crushed it beneath her selfishness. For months afterward, I found myself questioning everything. Every kind word, every smile from another girl felt suspicious. I hated that. She'd done that to me. That she'd poisoned something pure. But time changes things. One day, I woke up and realized I wasn't angry anymore. Just grateful. Grateful that I'd found out when I did. Grateful that karma, for once, didn't need my help. And maybe, in some twisted way, I was grateful to her, too. Because after her, I stopped accepting half-effort love. I stopped letting people treat me like a placeholder. I started building my life with more intention, more strength. Sometimes people think revenge has to be loud, shouting, fighting, destroying. But the truth, the most satisfying revenge, is silence. It's watching someone fall apart, under the weight of their own choices, while you move on untouched. She reached out months later, a short text. I'm sorry for everything. I don't expect forgiveness. Just wanted to say, I regret it all. I never replied, because forgiveness isn't owed, it's earned. And she'd spent all her chances. So yeah, maybe I lost a relationship that year, but I gained something better. And that's something no one can steal. Not even a cheating girlfriend and her loser ex. The best part, her father and I still talk occasionally. He always says the same thing before hanging up. You're still one of the good ones, son. And every time, I smile, because I finally believe him again.